Welcome everybody to Adam Polish's Wednesday live video. Hope you guys are having a good day. We got some maintenance on our forklifts, so it might be a little loud for a minute, but yeah. Welcome to the Wednesday live. I'm sure maybe some of you guys saw on the excuse me, on the Instagram notification is I'm gonna do like a two-part thing here. Today will be part one, and the next Wednesday will be part two. This car just needs, it needs like 6 hours, so I'll be doing work like after the fact, but I think it's like a good time to do kind of like a prep for a ceramic coating and then applying it. So, I'm sure like everybody that the how to apply ceramic coatings, like everybody loves that, but there's so much work that goes into before you even get there. So today we'll be talking about the prep. So for any questions on that, like just fire in the comments like as much as you can. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. It always keeps you up to date when we go live. I am the one who monitors the YouTube channel, so if I don't respond to comments, I apologize. But I know like I subscribe to a few different YouTube channels, and every time I go on to YouTube, like they always show up first. So whether it's yourself or friends or family, get them to subscribe so they just know when we drop new videos, and also when we're live every Wednesday. So and then if
says we're getting close to 100K subscribers.
Yeah, we're getting close. I don't really look at it too much. I'm too busy cleaning cars. So but anyways, today with this car is hammered. So I want to say 3 years ago, they actually like polished and ceramic coated this, and the person who owns this car isn't much of like a car care person, so not doing regular maintenance clay, not washing it, not even washing it at all, I don't think. So it's actually like a good car. It's almost like we're kind of starting from scratch. So so you guys know, like I have done some work already before we came onto this live, and first thing, obviously, I think of the stuff I did is like stuff that everybody knows, but clean the wheels thoroughly. And actually the tires were so brown that instead of using tire and rubber cleaner, I ended up using wheel and tire cleaner on the tires. And then because this is a little bit more, I wouldn't say this is like a performance car, but more of like a performance brand. The brake dust is metallic, so I use wheel cleaner. So you can see, like, aside from the awful curb rash that's on these wheels, they're pretty clean. So got those nice and clean, and then I went ahead and washed the car. And I only did one bucket because the car is so hammered that if I introduce a few minor swirl marks, it like doesn't matter because I have to fix that anyways. So when it comes to prepping a car for a ceramic coating, like especially if you're going to be polishing it, like 2-bucket wash isn't always necessary. I think like 2-bucket wash is intended to reduce the amount of scratching that happens. And so like if you have a new car, washing it 2-bucket wash you got to do it because the car is generally not in that bad of shape. So like 2-bucket wash, reduces how many scratches you get. So then you can just go into coating. You're not really doing very much machine polishing, maybe a little bit. But with this car, so hammered, literally doesn't matter. So anytime a car is in bad condition or has a lot of scratches, a single bucket wash is fine, because you're going to fix it anyways. So I went ahead and washed it, single bucket wash. And then I rinsed it all off. I re-foamed the car, and it's hot today. It's like 90, it says 87 on my watch, but in my car it said 95. So we're right around 90 today. And so I re-foamed the car to neutralize the water again. And then I started claying the car. So on some cars that aren't as hammered as this, I could have got away with using the clay mitt, But this car was so bad that I actually opted for the Visco clay. And you can see, I mean, I know Chris has shown it to you guys already, but like this is after like a third. I mean, I'm at a different section, but I've already stretched and folded this like 4 times. So you can really see like how much stuff is on this car, how much bonded contamination's on here. So I'm kind of at the end of the claying portion, which is pretty straightforward. Like I was using I used the second time I foamed it with the soap is mainly I was using that as a lubrication for the clay. But since it's so hot, it was drying quick. So I ended up running inside and grabbing detail spray. So like where the dry soap is, like you can see with this clay, like this isn't gonna move at all. There's soap on here, or like even up here, there's soap and dry detail spray. So it's like not moving whatsoever. But as soon as you give it like a mist of detail spray, now it's able to move. So because it's so hot and is drying so fast, I grabbed the detail spray just for, you know, added lubrication. I wouldn't say added, but for the lubrication because the soap was drying. So go ahead.
How often do you clay after the ceramic coating?
How often do you clay after the ceramic coating? It's quite the debate. I think it depends on who you ask. I think it very much depends on how much your car is being driven. You know, Adam and myself don't think too much about like time frame, like months or years. I think it's more like mileage, you know. So if you're driving a lot, then you need to clay more often, especially like when you're in an area like Colorado that gets a lot of different kinds of weather. I mean, I'm not joking. For like the last 2 weeks, every day at 3 o'clock it starts raining. Like it without a doubt, absolutely, there's going to be a thunderstorm, and that's just this time of year. And we're getting really close into fall, in which it's going to turn to winter like that. You got like 3 months and it's winter. So, you know, with a little bit harsher weather conditions, claying more often is ideal because you're just going to get more bonded contamination. So I don't know. I think like myself out here, the maintenance claying process is so easy, especially with a clay mitt and doing it during the washing process. I'll do it once a month. You know, I think you could probably get away with once every 3 months, but the less bonded contamination that's on your car, the easier it is to do your clay job. You know, like this hasn't been clayed for 3 years, so I have to go over the surface multiple times, whereas if you do it consistently, like every month, every 2 months, maybe every 3 months, it's just like a lot faster, more efficient, easy. So the more upkeep you do, the better.
LKG says, let's say 20 miles a day on average every day in Colorado.
20 miles a day, you're talking like, let's call
by feel.
Yeah, feel is another one. Like if you touch the car, like the problem with this car is it's so bad that I clayed this hood and I can still feel bumps on it, you know? So, but yeah, like when you're washing your car, after you dry it, you know, just run your hand over the surface and it feels like there's some bumps on there, go ahead and do a maintenance clay, you know? So, but I would say like, if you're not going to do it once a month or once every couple months, then for sure do it like every 3 months. And, you know, or maybe like every 4 months, but like every time you get your oil changed, I get my oil changed at 5 to 7,000 miles. So every time I get my oil change, first I clean my engine before I take it to get my oil changed. And then when I get it back the next day, I fully wash it and do a clay. So that's just kind of my routine, how I think about it. So I don't know if that helps a little bit, but that's just kind of like a easy routine to like, easy reminder, you know?
Danny says, so for Adam's Graphene Advanced Spray Coating, do I wash, dry, detail spray, polish, and then apply the spray coating?
Sorry, say that again, the steps?
Wash, dry, detail spray, polish, and then apply the spray coating.
I would say for spray coating, like if it hasn't been done, wash, rinse, or like rinse, wash, rinse, foam, wash, rinse, foam, clay. So like clay mitt ideally.
Using the clay as the lube.
Yep, rinse, dry it with, you can use detail spray as a drying aid, and then graphene ceramic spray coat.
And if you want to polish it, do that. before
You
you
can
spray
polish it. I mean, I think the thing about, and that's what I'm going to show you guys on this car. Like the spray coating is, you know, it doesn't last as long. You gotta do like more maintenance. And I think depending on the car, like if you want to get your car perfect, you have to choose of what the appearance of your car looks like. That's like the number one thing that I tell people, because I have off-road guys that have old 4Runners and they take them to Ouray, Colorado, and up in the hills and Moab, and their cars get filthy all the time, and they get the pinstripes from the brush rutting on their car. Like having their car perfect is just a never-ending story. There's no way that you could keep up with that. So for those guys, it's not as much about the appearance of the car, it's more about the benefit that makes that graphene ceramic spray coating makes your car easier to clean. You know, so you got to make a choice. If you're wanting your car to be perfect, then yeah, you could polish. You know, I think with graphene ceramic spray coating, you could get away with like a one-step. You don't have to get your car like crazy perfect, like with the graphene ceramic coating advanced in the 60 ml bottle, which is like intended to last a lot longer. It's like a little bit more permanent, I would say, than the spray coating, where the spray coating, I think, especially if you're somebody that maintains your car consistently, the spray coating is better, but like that means every 6 months you should maybe do a one-step polish and then reapply it. So yeah, I think you bring up a good point. You know, maybe at least a one-step polish to get the gloss activated on your car, and then once you've done that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do a two-step polish system. Like if you have that and you're willing to spend the time to do it, then I absolutely would tell you to do that, because it's going to make your car look in the best condition before you put the coating on. So
While you keep doing that, Andy says, if I already have spray ceramic coating on the paint, when I do a routine clay, can I just apply ceramic detail spray after to keep building up the ceramic protection?
oh yeah, absolutely, Andy, that's a great question. I'd say, Andy, you're kind of talking more in like the maintenance side of things, and you know, graphene detail spray is a really great product for that. And to be honest with you, on YouTube here, we had made a video of, I think it's called like Listen Up, What is your ceramic coating telling you? And in that, it's more of like a ceramic coating maintenance type of video. And we actually talk about the difference of graphene detail spray, our standard rinse aid, and also graphene boost. So if you end up watching that video, I mean, you could pretty much like skip ahead if you don't want to watch the whole thing, but that really gives a great explanation of what those maintenance products will do to your car. So graphene detail spray is a great choice. You know, I think depending on the weather, like a graphene boost is even that much better because it's more concentrated with the boosting aspects. But graphene detail spray is something that's way easy, like 1,000% easier to use. And that's actually something that Tyler, who kind of runs our website, some of the marketing, he graphene ceramic spray coated his car, and he takes it through a car wash called Auto Wash, which is a fully touchless. They use like a pressure washer system to wash the car, and with your car being ceramic coated, it makes the auto wash system like a lot better, a lot easier, get your car more clean. And so Tyler will take it through the touchless car wash, and then when he gets home into his garage, then he'll break out his graphene detail spray and just wipe down his car to like gonna give it the final touch. But at the same time, he's also boosting the hydrophobic properties of his graphene ceramic spray coating that he applied to it. So yeah, I think there's somewhat of like a decision to be had of like how often do you want to use the graphene ceramic or like the maintenance product. You know, if it's not something that you want to do consistently, like every month or every couple months, then, you know, every 6 months use the graphene boost, and it just ends up lasting longer, you know, so you don't have to do it as often. So I don't know. I hope that like answers the question. It was kind of a roundabout way, but so there's a bunch of detail spray on here and car soap. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse. I'm actually going to do something different. I'm going to take a foam cannon and just for good measure, because I'm not sure if this detail spray will come off if I just rinse it off. So I'm actually just going to take a bottle of car shampoo. I'm putting the foam cannon like directly onto it. I'm going to turn this all the way to, if you turn it counterclockwise, it will regulate how much soap it pulls from the tube in here. And so this is, by the way, this is like my pro tip. This is how I use all my soaps. I just have the standard 16-ounce bottle. I'll put it on the foam cannon, and then you'll see when I pull the, so this is like clockwise going all the way this way. This is counterclockwise going the other way until it stops. And you'll notice when I pull the trigger, it's just water. So it's essentially like bypassing, it cuts off this portion where it pulls it out of the tube. And so what I do is I'll pull the trigger and then I'll start dialing this up to the point when I have suds like that. And now what I'll do is I'll foam the car, and then once I'm done, because it's not going to pull very much soap out of here. Whereas if I dilute this into the canister, it pulls all the soap out of it. And so once I'm done with this, and I'll just take this off, put the cap on it, put it in my cabinet.
And is the reason you just turned it until it starts foaming so that you're using as little soap as
I just need like enough, whatever the thickness of this soap is. I don't need to use it full strength. I want it to be, I'm essentially diluting it by how much water is regulating coming through instead of diluting it into the canister, right? And so, and also, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, I use Mega Foam when I foam the car, and I buy two 16-ounce bottles. Our premium foam cannon is a 35-ounce canister. I pour two 16-ounce bottles directly into that. So I have 32 ounces of Mega Foam in a canister, and then I do the same technique I just showed you, and it literally lasts me like a long time. And I don't have to like keep diluting it and moving this, taking the canister off, doing all this stuff. It's just like I like set my I don't even know. I think I threw the canister out. So now I just have the head of the foam cannon, and then, or no, I do use a canister, but I can just set it back and put it in my cabinet, and it just sits there all the time, and then I just grab it and go. It's like so much less brain damage for me. So I'm just gonna foam this really quick. I don't need like a lot of foam, just a quick little layer. And also, like this technique I'm using with like the 16-ounce bottle, like I know some people they like their garages to be like crazy organized, and like having sometimes like your foam cannon can't even fit in your cabinet, you know, so utilizing it in the way I'm doing it can make it a little bit more easy to like manage at your house too. So now what I do is I just take the foam cannon. You know, I can take the straw with the soap, and I can just set it aside. And then take the cap to it and just put it on, and then I'll just put it in my cabinet.
Dan says, pro tip, use the canister with just water after a wash to prevent the foam cannon barrel from clogging up with dry soap.
There you go. I love that. Yes, Ken Wilson.
Hey Joe, on the truck I bought the plastic cover over the instrument panel. It has minor scratches, so the instrument cluster is scratched.
Okay.
Would it be better to use hand polish or glass polish to make it clear?
I would use hand polish. I think one of my questions for you, Ken, is what do you have a machine polisher? And also, do you have the micro polisher? If you have the micro polisher, that's going to make it a lot more efficient. But you could get away with hand polish, I think. If you have the micro, it's a lot smaller, so it's a lot easier to.
It says not yet on the machine.
Okay, then yeah, hand polish. Don't use glass polish because that I think that's plexiglass, and the glass polish is not intended for plexiglass. It's intended for regular, like more ceramic style glass. So hand polish is gonna be your go-to. So I'm not even like, I've already got all the dirt and grime off of this. I'm more just agitating the detail spray to come off. So I don't even need to go really back to the bucket because I don't need to avoid getting loose dirt and grime off of this.
So this is just for water spots essentially?
No, this is like to agitate the dry detail spray that's on here.
Oh, right.
So when I do rinse it off, it comes off more clean and then I can move on to the next. Well, then I need to dry it and then I'll move on to the next step.
Kyle Shelby is asking if you'll use rinse-aid after washing the car. Is rinse-aid the product, not a rinsing aid?
Okay, yeah. Kyle Shelby. By the way, that's a cool name. I think I've asked Kyle this before, but Kyle, are you related to Carol Shelby is the question. Anyways, if Kyle Shelby has a real Shelby, I would definitely want to hang out with him. It's like that's literally like one of the greatest cars in the history of the world. Anyways, no, I'm not going to use the rinse aid because I'm going to end up graphene ceramic spray coating this. So I actually want this to be as, I want like clear coat when I put the graphene ceramic spray coating on. I would say like rinse aid will be a great tool after it's graphene ceramic spray coated. So no, I'm not going to use rinse aid. I don't really want like any sort of other protection that is not like graphene ceramic spray coating is going to be my foundation. And then I can like put stuff on top of that, but I want the ceramic to be the base layer of my protection, I guess you could say.
Kyle says, no, I wish I would drive it. I drive a Subaru WRX. I would love to have a Shelby Mustang.
A Subaru WRX Shelby edition.
This sensor right there. Oh!
So the sun is like right there, okay? It means that this whole top half of the car is in the sun and it's very hot, but this whole side is in the shade. You can actually see like where the car is casting the shadow. I'm very aware of that when I do this last rinse because I do have it hooked up to a deionizer, so it kind of doesn't matter, but I just, for the sake of everyone at home that doesn't have a deionizer, you always start rinsing in the shaded side first, because if I start up here, it gives the water a chance to dry really quick, and then you can get water spots from that. So I'm literally like aiming my pressure washer here and down. So I usually start down lower like this, and then I'll move it up to where I'm trying not to rinse the whole hood. And then when you're rinsing, I think I used to do this actually. I would like do the whole top portion and then the whole middle portion, the whole bottom portion. Adam taught me that you just kind of work in sections as far as you can reach. So like this door, and then move on to this door. Come back here. So I got a little bit up here, but not the whole rest of the car. And then I'll do the back portion like this. And then I'll go to the top. And next week, when we graphene ceramic coat this with the spray coating, we're also gonna do this whole Yakima rack. This is like a bike rack. So if you have a bike rack or ski rack, like Chris has ski racks on his car, make sure to graphene ceramic coat them, because just makes keeping them, it will preserve the appearance of them for a lot longer of a time, but it also makes cleaning them a lot easier. So we'll also do all of this up here as well. And actually, to be honest with you, the spray coating is a better ceramic coating product for that, because I can just spray it on there versus like the 60 ml bottle. It'd be really hard to coat all of that. Oh, look at that. The detailing god smiled on us. A little patch of cloud just came over the sun, which makes this a lot better. Okay, so I'm rinsed. I have a towel right here. Now what I need is my detail spray. Take this. I just mist it on the car like this. Polish a mirror before you ceramic coat it. I have a question. What side? Well, yes, you should. Like, this car has, the mirrors are painted. So yeah, I would definitely polish this, which I'm going to. And I would also polish this side as well. The thing about this is it's not glass. It's like a different material. So like, you polish it and it actually like makes it look a little bit better. So yeah, but my car has plastic. Like, this has plastic kind of here. On my car, the whole thing is plastic, so I'm definitely not going to polish that, because it would end up staining. You can't really polish plastic anyway. So, okay, so I'm going to take my drying towel, and I like to dry the glass that's in the sun first. Kind of like this. I don't care if it's even like 100% perfect, because really I'm just trying to avoid from getting water spots. Because one of the prep things that I'm gonna do is glass polish this. So if there's like a couple little streaks in there, I honestly, it doesn't bother me all that much. Because remember, this washing and drying process isn't really intended for keeping the car perfect. This is not like a maintenance wash. This is, what's that? Yeah, I have to polish this car, because you can actually see in here. So I don't know, can you see all of that water right there, Chris?
Yep.
Watch when I wipe over this, you can still see where it is. It's like crazy oxidized. That's because the water is like seeping into the, oxidation is dead paint that is really porous. And so I can ceramic coat directly over it, and it will make it better, but it won't make it at its most effectiveness. So I already know that I need to polish it just because of that aspect alone. And to be honest with you, like, when we look at this car, it is so hammered that I'm not even going to be able to get it all the way perfect. So a two-step system on this, like a two-step compound and polish on this, is unnecessary. And I think the other piece of it is like, the person who owns this car doesn't take care of it, clearly, right? So any extra work that I do isn't justified, because it's only going to get bad again, right? So what I'm trying to do is help this person get their car to be easier to clean, number one. But I think to have the most effectiveness of the ceramic coating, I'll need to do a one-step polish on this. And actually, it gives us a good opportunity for everybody watching the live to get a first-hand demonstration, but also like some first-hand knowledge about the one-step polish, because I think one-step polish is somewhat of a confusing product, and the more that you use it and the more you understand it, the more of a tool it becomes, because it reduces the amount of time you can spend polishing, but you can still get like some decent results with it.
Rodney wants to know when you're spraying the undercarriage parts with ceramic spray coating,
Yeah.
are there any parts you need to avoid?
No, if you're spraying undercarriage parts with the ceramic, are there parts you need to avoid? I'd say no. The only thing I would say actually is there are some manufacturer warranties that if you do anything to them, they'll void the warranty. So like the thing about the ceramic is like, if you ceramic coat it, you have no idea that you did that because it's just easier to clean. So I'm not telling you to void your warranty. I'm just saying that like, don't tell them that you did it. You know, like do it to make cleaning it easier and protect it. But like if they ask you, just be like, oh, I don't know, it came like that. I'm not telling you to lie. I'm just saying like, it's complete BS anyways. If you ceramic coat anything, it shouldn't void any warranty. If anything, it adds value. It doesn't decrease the effectiveness of it. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say, is that there are some, like I know like even some, there's a guy that comes in here, I can't remember his name. He has a Rivian, and the whole thing is protected with a matte, like a satin film. The whole, every piece of the, like his car looks wrapped. And I guess technically it is, but it's more of like a paint protection film versus like a true wrap. And so the paint protection film is a satin finish. And so like the people who installed it, the people who manufacture the paint protection film, as scammers would do, is they say, you can only put a ceramic coating that is approved by us on the car, or else it voids your warranty. And it's like, what is different about your ceramic coating than everybody else's? Maybe it's a thinner formula, so it like goes on better, but like it shouldn't really matter. So he's like very cautious about what he does. So he ends up using the spray coating because it's a lot more thin formula, right? And so that's kind of how he's kind of getting around it. But you know, there's pretty much only one base material that a ceramic coating can be made out of, and that's polysiloxane, right? And then you have other products that are silica based, which are not like true, I guess it is ceramic, but it's not like, it's not what a ceramic coating really is. A siloxane based is really like the only type of ceramic that you can make that lasts, you know, years on your car. So, you know, when you, and by the way, true ceramic coatings that go on your car can only be solubilized in a solvent, because if you mix it with water, the polysiloxane reacts with the water and it turns to gel. It doesn't, they literally can't be together. And so you have to take a true ceramic coating and put it with solvent to then get to, and that's a vehicle agent, to get it out of the bottle onto your car, and then the solvent flashes away and the ceramic stays. So you got to be kind of careful in our industry when it comes to, first off, people selling you a ceramic coating, and then secondly, like people selling you a ceramic, they're installing a ceramic coating, and then secondly, like a company that is saying, oh, we, you know, we're going to sell you a ceramic coating, and you're like, okay, well, is it water based or is it solvent based? And if it's solvent based, then it should be good. If it's not, then it's a silica spray sealant, essentially.
Do you want to explain what we're doing with the tire and rubber cleaner?
Yeah. You think people actually care? No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. So what I'm doing with tire and rubber cleaner in this, I have a shop towel in my hand is I'm going over all the plastic and rubber pieces, and I'm removing the like oxidation is it's UV reaction with like the plastic and the paint, and it breaks it down and it becomes porous. And so before you put any protection on plastic, you should do this process, which is the reason why I'm using a shop towel. Normally I'd have an edgeless utility towel. I just don't have one with me right now. But I'm using a shop towel because it's woven fiber. So when I scrub this, it doesn't lint all over the place. And you can actually see the work that I'm doing on this little section right here by the mirror. Like I haven't touched this part, so you can see like the detail spray is seeped into the oxidation, but up here where I cleaned it, it's now like even and flat. You know, so my goal is to, right now, with all of this, is to address all the plastic and rubber. So like take this, and when I rub it on here, you can see once I'm done, it makes it super even and nice. And then all the oxidation comes off into the towel. And then when I ceramic coat over this, I'm ceramic coating onto the plastic pieces, and there's no more oxidation. So like I'm gonna go around, I'll probably audio is still off because it sounds like we had an issue with that, but I think Mr. Technical himself, Chris Colton, I think he got it back running. So just comment if we're good now. Now, I will say this, the reason why I'm doing this now before I do like polishing and stuff is that the oxidation, like if I accidentally swipe this while I'm polishing with the polisher and the polish or compound, it will stain this really bad, and then I have to clean it anyways, which I might have to do it again, probably not, but I want to do it now because then I can polish the car and then just put the spray coating on everything versus, you know, be getting ready to put the spray coating on, then I forgot to do this, and then I'm kind of SOL, I guess would be like a decent term to use. Whoops. And listen, again, like this car being in its condition is like, I'm gonna do the best I can. I might not be able to get everything, but I can get most of it at least. And if there's anything to ceramic coat, it's the thing I'm touching right now, which is called the cowl, which is what meets the windshield to the hood. This, because it points, it's facing directly to the sky, it oxidizes faster than anything on your whole car. And so this is like really important to get ceramic coated because it can. Dan, I'm curious, how was Hot August Nights? I'm kind of bummed I missed it this year. And I was talking to Adam last week. I was thinking about coming out to Corvettes at Carlisle, but I have my son's birthday is Saturday, and we're taking him to the Rockies baseball game because he's a San Diego Padres fan and they're in town. But then the next weekend we're having a family get together for everybody to be able to celebrate his birthday. So I can't go to Corvettes at Carlisle, but I'm just curious, Dan, how was Hot August Nights? Everything it's always been, which is like one of the best car shows in the world. Okay, I'll be able to finish some of this a little bit later. So I even, like, what I will end up doing is I'll end up doing all of this because this is all super oxidized. And you can actually see after I go over it a few times, it will bring back that's plastic as well. I might even just like run this over here too, but I definitely want to get the oxidation off of that as well. So anywhere that the plastic is at, I'll just do it over. Actually, it looks a lot better. Okay, so graphene ceramic spray coating prep. Number 1, wash the car, okay? And if you have strip wash, I'd recommend using that because, you know, especially if it's a car that you don't know what's on there, or maybe you do know what's on there and it used to have sealant or wax, you can strip that off, okay? So number 1, wash the car. Ideally, foam it with strip wash and then use just our standard car shampoo like in your bucket. And then once you're done with that, clay it. So either do the claying portion during the wash or do it after you dried it. I like doing it during the wash. It's just part of my routine. So I just do that. And then once you've clayed it, then like, you know, get the soap off the car, dry it really quickly. It doesn't need to be perfect. And then, oh my gosh, Chris. And then once you've done that and the car's dry, then go ahead and treat all of this plastic and rubber on the car. The reason why I said, oh my gosh, because I missed like the one thing that you see all the time. This strip right here. Oh my gosh.
It says hot August nights was fun and hot. Hot in all caps.
Hence the name Hot August Nights, because it's in August and it's hot. So yeah, dude, some years you catch a good year and it will be like stormy and then you'll get like in the 80s, but it's in Reno, Nevada, which is, everyone calls it the armpit of America because it's just hot there all the time. And that's not a jab at Reno, because Reno is a cool town.
It's just a temperature comment.
Temperature comment. It's hot and sweaty there, which is like what your armpits are. But usually also, like, if you're going to Hot August Nights and you have some extra time off from work, you can stay like the next week, and I think Burning Man is the weekend after. So if you're into that, definitely check that out. I've never been, and I will never go, but I've heard it's quite the experience. Okay, so now after I'm done, so like I was saying, use Tire and Rubber Cleaner to treat the plastic and the rubber. And again, the goal of that is to make it look nice and even. And now when I look at this, it's looking a lot more consistent, I would say, is like the best way to put it. Now after I'm done with that, the next thing I would do, and I actually just need to address this really quick because it's going to be really hard to notice, but I'm actually going to open the car door and I'm just going to clean the inside of the glass like really quick, because if I don't do this, it's going to be a lot harder for me to see when the glass polish is finished. So it's a little bit better. Whoa.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, it's from that cloud right there. And by the way, we're about to get a lot of shade, but there's some big raindrops coming out of that cloud. That's pretty cool. What time is it? If it's 3, we're right on schedule. I guess 2 o'clock or 3 is kind of when the thunder, if you've seen this, but when your phone is in the heat for a really long time, it like shuts it down essentially. So if you sticked with us, thank you. But now we're back. So I just use surface prep right in the middle here to strip anything off, because I'm gonna tape it off so you guys can see a difference. But before I move on to that, I'm gonna take the glass polish. That's why we just cleaned the inside of the glass here. And the glass isn't all that bad, but you can see it's a little bit oxidized, especially up here. This is like very obvious up here. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
So take the glass polish, and you don't need a ton. I mean, this is actually kind of a ton, but you don't need to like fill this whole pad up. I just do like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 thin lines like that, and then go straight on here. And glass polish is a hand polish only. So we go up here and then we'll rub it on the surface like so. Move my sunglasses.
Stephen Hall says, did you use detail spray to clean the glass?
The inside of the glass, I did use detail spray. You can use detail spray, surface prep, glass cleaner, waterless wash, slick and slide, spray wax. Like all those products work pretty well. I honestly, and I'm not telling you guys not to use it. I just haven't used glass cleaner in probably 5 years because I always have detail spray with me and it works just fine. So, you know, surface prep works good too because it's an alcohol-based, you know, surface prep is an alcohol-based product to remove detail spray and stuff like that before you ceramic coat. So you could use that as well if you have that. But yep, I just detail sprays on the cart. I used it for the drying aid. So that's why I used that. So now use glass polish and then you just wipe it off immediately. And that looks brand new, Chris. That's crazy, dude.
Way better.
It's more the inside that's not clean. The outside is like super consistent and perfect. If you go show them the other side, you can really see a difference. Wow, glass polish is like one of those products that, you know, it's your glass doesn't really it gets scratched. Your windshield does for sure because of your wiper blades. But your glass will oxidize or will get, you know, water spots or haziness like in the corners. And glass polish is like every time I use it, I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. Works great every single time.
Steven said he finds that detail spray leaves a haze on glass, and Dan said only use a little bit. One mist will clean a whole side window.
For what?
Detail spray.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when it comes to glass in general, less is more. And there's a pretty specific reason for that. And actually, what happens is if you use too much product on the glass, like if you spray like 5 sprays, just load it up, then your towel gets saturated and then the towel just like moves the product around and it never like pulls it away. Yeah. So, you know, I think realistically, like the reason why a glass cleaner is so effective is because either it has the ammonia in it or it has alcohol, and that really breaks down whatever is on your glass. And then when you wipe it away, you know, less is more because it just gives your towel like a little bit of lubrication to then just wipe it away. But like, to be honest with you, there's even times where you'll get stickiness or a film like on your glass, especially like on the inside. And Brilliant Glaze also works great. Just like we've talked about before, where you use Brilliant Glaze to wipe or to clean the inside of your windshield, you can treat all the glass, and it's safe on tint, so you don't have to worry too much about that.
Can you show me the product you're using?
Yes.
Neil just joined and he wasn't sure what we were doing.
Hey, what's up, Neil?
So that's Adam's Polish's glass wash.
I wonder if it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know?
Neil 22, so...
Neil 22, so...
Maybe.
No, it's not. Imagine that.
Yeah, astrophysicist.
I would absolutely, yeah, astrophysicist, I would absolutely turn it over and be like, okay, teach us.
Yeah.
Teach us something.
This is your live now.
Okay.
Phil Murray says, will you then apply a graphene ceramic glass coating after you polish it?
Yes, so after you do the glass polish, I'm not going to do it yet. Who said that? Phil. Okay. Yeah, Phil, I'm not going to do it right this second because I have like more work to do on the car. But yes, before I put the spray coating on the paint, I'm going to use the graphene glass coating on the glass. It's just the best thing for the glass. It protects it the best and it performs the best.
Does glass polish remove water spots?
Glass polish will remove water spots. Yeah, it will. And sometimes you'll get water spots that have been on the glass for like a really long time. Sometimes you even have to polish the glass with our compound and like a foam pad but that's like an absolute last resort. You do not want to use this glass polish that says glass polish on the bottle. You do not want to use it with the machine. So it's a hand application only, but you can see like this film right here. This is like a little bit of water spots and just some stubborn film that wouldn't come off from washing it or claying it. And so glass polish does a really good job of removing that piece of it. And when I'm done doing this portion, you'll be able to see that kind of the after piece of it. But really, like, glass polish does a really good job of bringing clarity to your glass. And actually, you know, your glass can oxidize as well. So it removes, that's a lot what that film or that haziness is. And so the glass polish, because it can remove that as well, like if I wipe that side of the windshield, the towel's kind of sticking. And then after I use glass polish, it glides perfectly. So then when I get into applying the graphene glass coating, it makes it go on. I mean, you're putting it directly onto the glass now, not like oxidation or bond decontamination, any of that kind of stuff. And so this is just doing the glass polish treatment before you put any protection onto glass is ideal.
Mark Dressel says, can you compare glass polish versus brilliant glaze for glass?
Yeah, so Mark Dressel, by the way, hi Mark. Sorry, I'm gonna miss you next week at Corvettes at Carlisle. Mark, if you can do me a favor when you're there, just find the nicest split window Corvette and send me a picture of it. Because no offense, Mark, because I know you have a C8 and your wife has a C7, which are cars and they're amazing because you keep them perfect. But the split window Corvette is my favorite Corvette of all time. But anyways, the difference between glass polish and brilliant glaze. Okay, so brilliant glaze, its original intention is to mask damage. Okay, so brilliant glaze has a food grade solvent in it, and then it has let's see, food grade solvent.
Consider your time.
Cool. Oh, the towel's up here. Food grade solvent. It has silt, which if you don't know what silt is, it's essentially like liquid clay, super fine clay. And then it has a little bit of wax in there. And so what happens is the food grade solvent is the vehicle to take the silt and the wax, probably more wax than silt, to take it out of the bottle and get it onto the surface. So then when you start wiping it on, you actually see like it hazes over to almost looks like you wax your car. That's because the solvent ends up coming out of it, and then the silt and the wax stays there. And then what happens is, you know, with scratches, like this would be like looking down the line of a scratch, which is just mainly like a microscopic canyon in your car, and the wax fills inside of it, and then you wipe the top layer off of it, the wax stays in. So then when you wipe it off, the light reflects directly off of it, so it appears as though there's no more scratches. So but the food grade solvent does a great job of cleaning. Okay, that's why it works so good on glass and chrome. But then the silt also it's like a little minor abrasive, so it like cuts through things. So abrasive, wax, and solvent. So like you have the cleaning power of the solvent, like I just said. So brilliant glaze is great, but it doesn't, on glass, like it works good, but it's more like masking some of the damage. Whereas glass polish is a very similar abrasive to our compound, but it also has just like a touch of the hydrofluoric acid that's in our water spot remover, and then a couple other things. And the hydrofluoric acid breaks down water spots, like scale or hard water spots. The abrasive even removes the oxidation and evens out the finish of the glass, and then makes it easy to wipe away. So I would say like the glass polish is more of like an abrasive base to it versus like a solvent base to it. But then when you have that hydrofluoric acid in there, it like really breaks down, you know, the water spots. Whereas brilliant glaze will do an okay job of it, but it it won't really like remove water spots the way glass polish would. Like this is just, it's so slick now. I love that. But now, Chris, when you look in this corner and down here where the black is, there's no more haze to it. You know, so like that, the clarity that glass polish brings to your glass is really, really good. Okay, so we've talked about it a little bit, getting close to being a little bit out of time, but I'm just gonna do one more thing before I sign off. So we talked about it. Wash the car ideally with, so obviously wheels and tires first. If you're gonna do the engine, do the engine. Then rinse the car off, strip wash out of your foam cannon, and then car shampoo out of your bucket. If the car is hammered like this one, single bucket wash is totally fine. I talked about that earlier. Then you can either do the clay portion during your washing. So after you've washed it with the mitt, rinse it off, refoam it, clay it. And I used the Visco clay today because I needed to be more aggressive because this thing had just so much, I mean, it still has stuff on it that I'm actually more, so you can see them on here. These big things of tree sap. And I couldn't get it with the clay. And so I'm gonna rely on the polish to remove that. Because the clay like kind of thinned it out. So I think it will work pretty good. But anyways, clay. You can also, after you've washed it, rinse it off, dry it, and then clay it inside. You can do that too. I'm just used to doing it during the washing process because that's mainly when I do it. Then I rinsed it off, then I dried it quickly. I don't care if it was perfect. As long as I got almost all the water off, like the water beads or any kind of water, just so I don't get water spots. And then after that, you treat the rubber and plastic with tire and rubber cleaner. And then we just did the glass polish. So we're kind of there. Now what I want to show you guys really quick is I'm going to tape off this middle section. And I'm just quickly going to show you guys one-step polish because like I said, any extra time, effort, or work that I do on this car is like not warranted because the person who owns this car doesn't really take care of it. And by the way, the person who owns this car has no idea we're doing this. So, you know, it's not like they asked me to do this. It's more of a couple of coworkers here. This is their brother's car and he's up mountain biking, just, you know, young guy, doesn't have to work, does whatever he wants. No, I'm just kidding. But his car was here and I was like, this is a great opportunity to do this topic that I've been thinking about doing for a while. So, you know, he doesn't know that we're doing this. And so for me, like understanding, like, I guess you could say like understanding my client just means that I know that this guy is not going to ever wash his car or ever do a maintenance clay or ever do anything to it. And so for me, any extra work is more of like my pride speaking, right? Which there's an element to that, but you know, I also have other work to do. So what I'm going to do is I'll one-step polish his car, which allows me to show you guys how one-step polish works, and then we'll spray coat it next week. So when it comes to, hold on one second, I got to get a extension cord out here really quick. But one-step polish, essentially, it's a product I actually like really like because you can get pretty decent results with it, but it essentially cuts your polishing time in half because you only have to do one step on the car versus, you know, the compound and the polish, both of those steps. And one step polish essentially bridges the gap between how much damage compound can remove and then how well polish can finish. And so hopefully this will reach, but anyways, it bridges the gap between compound and polish. And so you can remove a decent amount of damage with it depending on the pad you use, but it can finish pretty decent as well. And so the person who owns this car, they don't obviously don't care too much about the appearance of it. And so I can get away with doing a one step because it will add some gloss to the finish, but I don't have to spend a bunch of time fully polishing the car. So one step polish right here. I'm sure Chris showed you already, but anyways, one step polish is intended to be used with any of these pads based on, usually I have the blue foam. I should probably go grab that, but I'll just do it like this because it's not that big of a deal. Blue foam usually sits in the middle here, but what we're gonna do is we'll do a quick test spot. And what I'm trying to figure out is which pad gives me the best result with how much damage it removes and how it finishes. But I'm not gonna do multiple pads. I just have to pick one and then move on from there. So where I like to start, to be honest, is with the white foam pad, because I can always bump up to the blue foam, or I can bump down to the red foam. And so I like to start with the white foam pad. So, and by the way, the technique of how you do this is the same of how you do all your compounding and polishing. So we run it at speed 4. We put the lines on here. And so what I'm gonna do is I'll start on a test spot like up here. I'm not gonna do all of this because what I wanna do is give myself some like multiple test spots to try different pads. So I'm gonna start up here. So speed 4. And when you use one step polish, you do about 3 to 4 passes instead of just 2 passes. So turn this on. We'll go here. We'll go side to side. And up and down like this. So that for me was 1 pass. So I'm gonna go side to side again. And then up and down. That's 2 passes. Side to side. Up and down. That's 3 passes. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with 3 passes, just like that. And then take your single soft towel and we wipe it off like so. And because there's cloud cover, you can't see anything, which is great, you know. But I'll grab a light really quick. Actually, there's one right here. I don't know if we'll be able to see it very well, but let me try it like this. So, just by looking at this, it's a lot more glossy because I removed a lot of the oxidation. So when I say glossy, like if I hold this up here and you look at the what are these things called? The diodes? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Or like the individual LED light?
LEDs, yeah.
When you look, you can really see the shape of the lights in the reflection. Now, when I move down here, it becomes hazy and it's a lot harder to notice the actual like clarity of the LED lights. So like I know that I'm providing some clarity, but when I dive deeper and look into it, there's still a lot of it might be hard to see on camera, but there's a lot of like water spots that are still left on here. So because of that, it tells me that the white foam pad is not aggressive enough to remove the damage that I want it to remove. But because the clarity I got from it, I know that this will provide a lot of clarity and gloss, which is good. But I think what I'm trying to achieve is removing more damage than that. So, and by the way, this car is hammered. And so normally what I would do is I would move up to the blue foam. Actually, I'll just grab it. It's not going to take me that long. I'll go grab a blue foam pad, and then we'll see what happens with that one. Okay. Blue foam. Sorry, I should have had this earlier. So unorganized, Chris. So center the blue foam. With a 15 millimeter pad, you have the center mount for the backing plate, and then you have the cutout on the pad. It's the easiest to center the pad by centering this center cut hole to the mounting screw. So take one step polish again. So all I am changing in as far as variables go right now, the only thing I'm changing is the pad. I'm not going to change the speed. I'm not going to change the polish, just the pad. So now I know I stopped like about right here. So I'm just going to do this section right here and do the same thing. 3 passes. I'm trying to keep this as similar as possible because it will allow me to compare my results a lot easier. So essentially what we're doing, just like if Neil deGrasse Tyson was on here, is we're doing a science experiment. Our controls over here, see? We're getting very scientific today, Chris. All right, so side to side. What I also want to try to notice right now that I have this pad on here is I have tree sap, so I'm curious if this will even remove that as well. Side to side, up and down, 1 pass. So I have to do 3 passes. So I go side to side again. One more pass. Like so. Put this off. Interesting. Whoa. Huh. I wish you could see this better, Chris. I don't think you'll be able to see it in camera, but. So now when I look at this, a lot of the damage is removed. Okay, now up here, I see a lot of like remnants of water spots. Like there's one right here. But down here, I don't see that as much. I still see like a little bit of it, but it's not as pronounced. So to me, the blue foam actually did a better job at more, it bridged the gap better for me. Like it's still finished really good, but it removed some of that damage that I was trying to get out as well. So now what I'm going to do, just for good measure, before I commit to the blue foam, is I'm going to try microfiber, and I'm going to try to see what results this will give us. And just by the way, the blue foam with 1-step polish, like this combination right here, is actually one of the best combos for refreshing the gloss of a ceramic coating. So like if you have a ceramic coated vehicle, and you know, ceramic coatings are not bulletproof. So like you can get scratches in them, some minor swirl marks. It takes a longer period of time because it's a harder surface than clear coat, but still can happen. if you want to refresh that and get it back to perfect, one step with that blue pad is perfect for it. Like, it works amazing. So if you're wondering, can I polish a ceramic coated car, or what do I use to polish ceramic coated car, that right there is like one of the best combinations. Okay, so same thing, not really changing much. 3 passes really quick. And then I want to see compare. Okay.
How much pressure are you using?
I'm using, well, I've done this so many times, I kind of just, I don't, to be honest with you, like, because I've done this so much, I couldn't tell you how much pressure I do. I'm like regulating my pressure at different, like, I'm regulating my pressure at different areas where I'm going. My pressure is based on the rotation of the pad. So just for an example, let me just put a little bit more of this on here so you guys can see this. So my pressure is all based on, I'll do it up here so you guys can see this. So I hope you'll be able to see it on the camera, but essentially when I turn this machine on, how fast this pad is rotating, it's like going really fast. If I push too hard, it starts to slow down. And so I want it to rotate fairly fast, but if I start pushing too hard, I let off of it a little bit. If I don't push hard enough, it will just zoom and not do anything. And you can hear the machine too. So I'm mainly like, I'm kind of regulating it in certain areas. And like right here, if I push too hard, the hood actually concaves like that. So I'm just pushing hard enough that it doesn't quite do that. But what I'm doing is my eyes the whole time are looking at the thing going like this. So if it's spinning like this fast, like that, perfect. If it's spinning like this, I'm not pushing hard enough. If it's spinning like this, I'm pushing too hard. So I'm just kind of like, I'm feeling it the whole time I'm doing it. That's why I personally, I know there's a lot of different ways that it's taught, but like, I've been taught 2 ways. One way is to hold it like this because you're holding on for dear life. Another way is like you hold it like this. I just don't like it because I feel like I'm like pushing like this with my arm. My shoulder gets tired because I'm old. Another way that someone taught me who's very respectable is like the rule of thumb. How hard you can push with your thumb is how hard you push. But what?
Dan just said that.
Yeah, like your rule of thumb, but it's not consistent with every body panel that you do. So I personally like to have my hand like directly over the center of the pad because I want the pressure to go evenly into the pad. And so I hold it like this, or push with my thumb. This gets really tired. So I'm kind of doing this, or I'll hold it like this. I never go over the top because I feel like I do this a lot. I push, my pressure is going like this versus there's these like slots right here. It's like my 3 fingers go in those slots. And then when I push down, it's like, I don't even need my back hand because it's pushing straight through the center of the backing plate. So my pressure it's not consistent, but I'm trying to monitor how fast the machine is, the backing plate is spinning, because it's like a free rotation, a freely rotating backing plate, that the oscillation is what determines like how fast or it makes it spin. And so I'm just more like, the harder you push, the less it spins. The lighter you push, the more it spins. I'm trying to keep it right in the middle. Well, Chris, daggum, huh? The microfiber pad hands down wins. It might not be easy to see in the
Yeah, unfortunately an iPhone's not cutting it.
Yeah, dude, we need to call Apple. Like, what are you guys doing, huh?
Give us the latest. Give us the 16.
I wonder if we used to have like another light. It might be inside. Let me see if I can grab the one inside. It just sucks. If the sun was out, you'd be able to see it, which is what I was planning on. How's it going?
How we doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Here we go. This might work, Chris. Let's try this light, huh? I mean, all three of those sections look great, but yellow. Oh, that works good. So when we come up here, let me know when I'll move towards you, Chris. I don't know if you guys can see any of the damage in there. Yes or no, Chris? Probably not.
I don't think so, but honestly, it's hard for me to even see.
So when I move down to this section, it's like okay. This like is glossy. There's definitely like an enhancement of gloss, but the damage is still obvious. The damage in this is less, but I can still see it. But then when I get to the microfiber, it's like, for some reason, the gloss and the damage, the gloss enhancement is more, and the damage is like almost all the way gone. So for me, that's like the thing about one-step polish, is that on every car, for the most part, it is a different pad and one-step polish combination. And my recommendation is to do what I just did, where you start with the white foam, and then, you know, if you end up removing a lot of damage but it doesn't finish great, then move to the red pad, right? That's your only option to go less then, right? But if you don't remove as much damage, like this is a perfect example. I didn't remove as much damage as I wanted, but it made it glossy, but I felt like I could do better. So I just switched to the blue foam, and it did better, but it just for some reason didn't finish quite like the microfiber, because then I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna try it. I could have actually stopped and kept doing the blue foam, but I was like, I don't know, just for good measure, I'm gonna do it. And I did it, and it won. So I know, like, now for me that I've done these, I'm gonna go back over these again with the microfiber pad and the one-step polish, and then I'll just do the whole car in one step. Let me see that camera really quick. And actually, we'll just do this. Gotta watch out for the button. As my son used to say, the button. So I'm gonna peel this away. Hopefully the sun will stay. I don't know, you might not be able to see it. Here, hold that. I could definitely see it with the light, but you can really see a difference in enhancement here. So I'll just take this tape off, and I mean, just standing away from it, it's much more clear.
We'll just keep that in the same space.
Oh, geez, it's like so much better.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to see the difference between the pads, but you can see the before and after pretty clearly.
Yeah. So again, like for you guys, maybe we're not necessarily trying to prove like what we were able to do with the different pads, but if you have one-step polish, just try the different pads, and whichever one gives you the best result, that's the one you're going to use to do the whole car in one step, right? So normally when you're doing a polishing process, you do compound with either microfiber or blue foam, and then you have to follow that up with the white foam and the white polish. But in this instance, I'm not necessarily trying to get a showroom finish because the condition of the car is awful, but I just want to enhance the gloss. So when I put the graphene ceramic coating, it will even enhance it that much more. It will be easy to clean, and then the car will be more presentable. So one-step polish is, you can even ask Dan, he's starting to use it more, and he's starting to like it. I've always loved it. If you've been with us for a long time, we had a product called correcting polish. It was orange. It's still requested to this day. To be honest with you, the correcting polish just transitioned to this product right here. This is almost identical to the formula. This has a little bit more of an aggressive abrasive to it, so it can remove more damage. But if you're looking for like correcting polish, like an old school product, this is like the new version of it, which we just transitioned to one-step polish. So again, it's like, because it has a little more of an abrasive to it, you just need to work through it a little bit more because it has a diminishing abrasive. So it starts at an abrasive like this, and then pieces of it break off, so it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. The more you work it, the more refined it gets and the better finish you get. That's why I said you need to do either 3 to 4 passes with one-step polish, because then it will refine itself to finish better. If you only do 2 passes, you actually see marring because you haven't broke down the abrasive enough. So just know that when you're using that product, the more you break it down, the better it finishes. And it's a really cool product. So in the essence of prepping the car, I'm going to one-step polish the car. And then at that point, after that, and I'm going to do this next week. So make sure you guys come back next week because we're going to get into actually ceramic spray coating the car. But I will use the graphene glass coating first because I want that to be the base layer. And then once I have that on there, I can literally put the graphene ceramic spray coating on top of that. So what I'm trying to do is get it to a point where I can be absolutely careless with my graphene ceramic spray coating and just slap it on there and be able to wipe it off easily. But I don't care if it gets on the glass. I don't care if it gets on the plastic. I can just do everything at that point. So that's really where the prep comes in, and making sure that the appearance of the car looks decent. But also part of what I was doing is I'm removing oxidation. So now I have this nice, perfect clear coat back, and the graphene spray coating can adhere like really good to it. And then it makes it last longer, makes it easier to maintain, blah, 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 blah.
Is the red pad less or more aggressive? Where is it?
The red pad is less aggressive than the white pad. And the reason being is there's 2 reasons. It's softer, okay? Softer than this one. But this is an open cell pad and this is a closed cell pad. So I can breathe air through it like that. This one, I can't. You can't breathe. And if you guys have polishing pads at home, try this. Either the red, any of these. If you don't have the red, do it with the blue foam. But take the blue foam, blow air through the side of it, and you'll notice that you can blow air through the pad. It's meant to circulate air through the pad to keep it cool while you're using compound. But what happens is that the actual compound will go deeper into the pad. So that's why you actually have to use more compound. You need to brush it out more because it starts going into the pad. With the white foam pad, I can't blow air through it. And what that does is it actually keeps the polish at the very surface level of the pad. And because it's less of an abrasive with the polished product. So you want that to break down so then it finishes better, but the polish stays on the surface. It doesn't go into the pad, so it helps break it down more. So try that. If you guys have polishing pads at home, try blowing through them. And then if you have the red foam pad, it's super soft, but it circulates air and it allows the compound or polish to go deeper into it, so it's less aggressive. So there's a little bit of science behind our pads as well, and they're designed that way. Like, we tested a lot of different things, and we tried a more firm foam with the blue foam and then like closed cell, but it ended up not working. It like broke down the compound too fast and it didn't fully remove as much damage as we wanted. So we switched to the open cell. It circulated the air better, so it kept the panel more cool, but it actually allowed the compound to like work through more, so you could remove more damage. So just like a couple notes on that. But anyways, I'm kind of past time. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm also really tired. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have more questions, you can hit me up, joe@adamspolishes.com. I'll answer any of your guys' questions. And if you want to, you know, I think we could, in a better lighted setting, we could go through one-step polish again so you can really tell the results. Sometimes it can be hard to see. But, I mean, just for me, like looking at this right now, it's like significantly better. Like it removed oxidation, swirl marks, and it like finished pretty good. Like now that the sun's out, you can very much see it. But anyways, so prep, you know, I think we went over it a few times. If you want to learn more about it, like I just say, if you came to the party late, go back and watch the video from the beginning and just kind of see the different steps we went through. But you know, washing, claying, glass polish, removing oxidation from rubber and plastic, and then one-step polishing the car. And then next week we get into spray coating it. So hope today was helpful. And next week, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, same bat place, same bat time, all that stuff. And remember to subscribe to our channel, and then go check out our videos. We have a lot of cool stuff on there right now. We'll be releasing a video tomorrow that's like an in-depth breakdown of our machine polishing line. So make sure you check that out too. So glad I could do this. Thank you guys for watching.